We gon' make some moves tonight, yeah, stand up. Got something to prove tonight, so stand up. We ain't gonna plan tonight, we gonna take action on our dreams and fight, alright. We ain't gonna stall, never stop. We gon' make it all till it's out. We ain't gonna plan tonight, we gonna take action on our dreams and fight, alright.
Hey folks, Happy New Year and welcome to 2026 and the preseason for the New York City Football Club. My name is Scott Schertzen, otherwise known as almost a Z-list celebrity because I never really got past that point. Joining me today is Dat Boy Davi and Mr. Christian Smith. Gentlemen, how are you and how is Groundhog Day treating you?
Everything's repetitive, I would say, today.
6 more weeks of winter is the game plan right now.
Yeah, who knew?
Aren't we lucky?
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, it's warmer in Alaska. It's warmer in Colorado. Nick Cushing's out there basically with less snow than we've got. Sucks to be him.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, yeah, appreciate this time. Want to talk a little bit about NYCFC this season. Talk a little bit about the offseason. It has been an interesting one, I guess, to say the least in this case, between the fact that Justin Hack is gone, Micha Ilinic is gone, Jovan moved around. We have one new player in the form of Tri Traywin, possibly a new one, but apparently that may be dropping at some point due to some issues as far as a knee injury goes. So NYCFC will be back to square one. But before I get into anything as far as tier list and breaking down the offseason, do you guys have anything you want to start with and talk about?
Davi, would you like to start?
Yeah, so supposedly they came out that sources Tony Leto, and the agreement fell off due to a missing work visa and a knee injury. But NYCFC wanted to loan in Musa Sila, but Schalke wanted to get rid of him, and the agreement was already in place. But turns out he failed his medical, and now he's on the plane back to Germany. So that deal seems to be officially off the table.
Yeah. They were putting a lot of eggs in that basket there with the injury to Alonso Martinez now.
Yeah. I was always kind of like, I don't want to sound like one of those people who like didn't like a transfer before it officially went through and like judges like because you never know how a player is going to perform when they're here. There's certain players who have probably had relatively nondescript careers elsewhere who have come here and been stars. Maxime Chanot and Alex Collins ring a bell. Mm-hmm. Those weren't powerhouse names in football before they came to the Five Boroughs, but they became very, very important pieces here, especially in that championship win in 2021. So I don't want to say that I wasn't optimistic, but I also wasn't like over the moon about it because from everything that I saw, he seems to have primarily been playing winger for Schalke since he got there, like in wide areas. I feel like that's more of his profile. And I was interested in seeing him here. That said, the deal falling through at the 11th hour doesn't necessarily break my heart. It definitely gives us less to talk about over these next few weeks as, talks about preseason and maybe a kit reveal in the coming days will definitely take precedent. I wish we were talking about another signing. That said, I do still think that we nailed our biggest need right now, which is Justin Hack. At least I hope the profile of Traywin, I believe his name is, seems to fit the description. Mm-hmm. And he's got CFG experience, so he's already attached that ethos. He's already got, a lot of that. What's the term I'm looking for? The lore, I guess, CFG lore attached to him. He knows the system. So I imagine he'll be a pretty good transition. We saw it with Aiden O'Neill, who also spent time at Melbourne City. We saw how he transitioned here, and I was very happy and pleased with his performance. So, yeah, disappointing, but not the end of the world.
So you're not that bothered by it then?
I'm disappointed. That said, I'm not, like I said, it doesn't break my heart. I hate to hark back to the Cushing out days of the past, but I definitely am. I feel better knowing that Pascal has accomplished a ton with this team, and and especially in the first half of last season, a team that I feel was worse than both the 2024 and 2023 teams, objectively speaking, from just a pure roster building standpoint.
Mhm.
And I do think that he's going to be able to still extract performances from guys like Johnny Shore. We've seen Keaton Parks back in the videos, which is an incredibly encouraging sign because he's so important to us when he's healthy. And I'm also excited about a certain person who returned back from loan this offseason and see what Pascal can do with him specifically.
Definitely tonight, yeah.
Yeah, and I still have some faith in Seymour Reed and that he can become a thing. And also Nico Fernandez is possibly a false nine option. We saw that in the playoffs. And I can't say that was terrible, especially against Philadelphia. Created quite a few chances there.
You know what? On that note, why don't we do this? I'm going to take this a little bit out of order in this case, but let me swing over to the actual video of the match itself against Austin. I want to show what we've got here. This comes courtesy of NYCFC. So before I play that, let me make sure I do that so I don't get in trouble. But taking a look at some of the highlights on the B-roll that actually happened the other day. We got a team here that I think has some potential as far as where it's going to go. This just came from courtesy of Esteban Camino. Talles Magno already up on the ball at this point. He shows up a couple times in this 1 minute video, but the shot on goal right there. But they're playing well. They seem to be focused on what they need to do here. It's a good getting the rust out of the game or getting the rust out of the gate moment here. But any thoughts, guys?
It looks like he's playing a 9.
Yeah. This, by the way, look at this pass right here. This is a great pass. Didn't work out, but just that great back pass, that great awareness to Maxi Morales right there.
And this is like the Talles that I want to see because I posted a Twitter thread last week talking about Talles Magno and his history with this club, and I mentioned the 2022 season. Great goal from Nico there. And if you look at the numbers from 2022, Talles Magno was legitimately one of the best wide players in MLS that year. He was incredibly effective, especially in 1v1 situations. He was his distribution was really, really, really good. So he wasn't just all flash. He chipped in with a few goals here and there, but he had 7 goals, 8 assists, and over the course of the year, that was tied for the most goal contributions for any one individual player.
He was
not named Tati.
He was tied at one point with, I think, in assists. Because he would just feed Tati. That's the entire system. And then the decision was made from a much higher level, well above Brad Sims, to say let's make him a striker, and then of course that failed epically.
Yeah, I'm not. So I mean, from that clip, it looks like he's playing the 9. That said, I also still think that within a Pascal-centric system, I think you can rotate him anywhere in that attacking trident, if not into like the attacking midfield, and because there seems to be some kind of methodology, not just get it to the final third and then just figure it out from there. I feel like he'll, like with that kind of direction and that kind of framework, I do think he'll be very dangerous in 2026. I ended the Twitter thread with saying, don't sleep on Talles Magno this year. And I still feel that same way with or without Silla. And also we still have Alonso Martinez possibly coming back in the summer. So maybe, hopefully, fingers crossed. ACL injuries are weird and devastating. They've ended careers before, so you can never, count your chickens before they hatch. That said, I'm still optimistic, especially once the team starts getting healthier in that middle stretch.
Davy, man.
Yeah, I feel like he was playing striker. He was playing up top in those little clips that you showed us there. I think he also had the assist to Agustin Ojeda's goal just before halftime, and that was just such a beautifully weighted pass. Threaded the needle beautifully, and then Ojeda with the great finish on the right foot to curl it past Stuver in the net. Yeah, dude, I think he's pretty good, and I think with the proper coaching in place and the proper tactics and the proper system around him, and the players too, he could be a very good player. Yeah, I think a lot of people are forgetting that in 21 and 22, Talles Magno was a pretty good player in his own right, and just a couple years prior to that, just before the pandemic, it wasn't. It really wasn't. Like a mystery why clubs like Real Madrid and Liverpool were linked to him in the past, and he was on the I believe he was in the top 20 or top 25 of the wonder kids to look out for in 2019 in world football. And I mean, he's had some rough patches here before, and I think that could be just settled with the CFG wanting to play him as a striker post Tati and trying to force a square into a round hole. And obviously with Cushing, the coach he was, that didn't help. Anyone that knows me well knows how much I can't stand Nick Cushing. And
I'm the only Cushing defender here. I admit that outright.
And how terrible of an era that was for New York City football. So, now with Pascal being here, I think he's shown how good of a coach he could be, and especially early on in the 2025 season where he showed with quite an incomplete roster, he could still get results and find ways to compete. So I think with Talles Magno, now that you have players like Nico, players like Maxi, players like Agustino Heda, and Hannes Wolf, and possibly even a striker if we bring him in, he could be a very good player. And I think the offense, the goals will be more spread. I don't think it's going to come down to just a couple players like last year with Alonso and Hannes Wolf scoring the bulk of the goals of the offense. I think the offense can actually be spread out a little bit. And not only that, you have possibly Malachi Jones coming back later in the year, hopefully. Fingers crossed, because Pascal said that he suffered a couple of minor setbacks on the recovery. So, and then Ojeda, he could come off the bench or he could start, and he looked pretty good down the stretch in the 2025 season after his disciplinary punishment of showing up late. So I think could be a very compelling season for the offense, and we hope that the striker positions get filled. But I mean, Seymour Reed, within his own right, he had a couple chances that last year probably should have put in the back of the net, a couple of them in Leagues Cup, but he did get his first goal in MLS against Chicago Fire, and he took that pretty well. So you probably don't want to put that much pressure on a young 18-year-old kid to be the starter, and kind of put him in the same position as Munsa Bakrar, where it's you or bust. Like, you either score these opportunities or we're not getting 3 points today. So hopefully we could see a little bit more of the offense and a little bit more players chip in with goals, and of course you got Perea and Maxi that could also chip in their own right from the midfield. So I think it's a good sign that we come out here and we get the win in the preseason. So I think Pascal has got the squad rallied up, and everybody really bought into his ideology at the start of last year. And I think Talles with the brand new faces and Pascal and Todd Donovan at the club, I think he's going to be revitalized, and I think people are going to realize that he's actually a really good player, and he was kind of being set up for failure in the system under Nick Cushing.
In this case here, I think that sometimes actually failures like that are beneficial, because he comes in for such a long time. He was the guy. He has an Instagram following that is literally twice as much as NYCFC.
Yeah, he has got a million followers.
Yeah. So he is just a presence in general, which may have actually factored into some of the decision to bring him back anyway, is because every tweet every post that he has on Instagram, he is going to get a ton of traction towards the team itself, which is honestly in today's era something to think about. But when you see a kid like this who's still under the age of 25, went down to Corinthians, the fans down there were more than happy to let him go. Now he comes back here, a little bit of tail between his legs a little bit, but sees it as an opportunity to showcase what he knows he can be, what he believes he can be. And this is where that chance comes in. And especially given the fact that, the team has lost some players. In this case, Alonso Martinez is out. CeeLo would talk about that already. Julian Fernandez just got transferred out. So I got to wonder if they were regretting that decision a little bit. But for Talles Magno, you have a kid now that I think understands this system and is a little more mature than he was when he left the first time. And it'll be interesting, like you guys said, to see what he's able to bring here, because I think there's less expectation on him this time. When he came in, there was so much hullabaloo. That press conference had so much energy, so much excitement to it. And there was a lot to his expectation. Now I think the expectation is a little lower, so maybe he can play to his talents a little bit more.
I think you got to forget he was about 19, 20 years old when he came over to New York City, and he's about 22, 23 years old now. So
now, so yeah, he was
somewhere around there,
19 or 20 at the time.
Yeah, and not only that, I think this is just the social media era, not just in soccer but in all sports. People got to stop calling people washed at a very young age, and they got to give these young guys some time. I mean, you see it in the NFL. I mean, Bryce Young, for example, people were really like calling him like a generational bust for the number 1 overall pick, and it was only his sophomore year when he got benched for Andy Dalton in Carolina. So, and then obviously now he's kind of maturing into that franchise quarterback that the Panthers hoped they were getting with the number 1 pick, especially considering the package that they gave up to the Chicago Bears to get him. And I think this is the same thing with Tallis Magno. People just got to stop calling him washed. People got to stop, putting so much expectations and putting these young guys on a pedestal that, they're human beings too. And, for somebody like Tallis Magno to come over at age 19, age 20, and still in like a COVID-ridden like time as well in life.
And playing outside of his country
playing outside of his country, a foreign country, you don't even know the language here very well. And it takes some guts to leave your hometown behind and, come to a foreign land where you don't even know the language and just and then obviously I think the contract too, he was a young DP, he was a U22 DP, and he still is a DP now, but I think at the end of the year, his DP status is no longer valid. So that could also come into the psychological warfare in terms of someone like Tallis Magno, where he's a young DP, so people expect you to get results right away. But yeah, dude, I think he's a potential contender for comeback player of the year.
It'd be nice to see. I like the kid as a kid. I think he's a good guy.
Got some good dance moves too.
Yeah, I've met Tallis on several occasions, and he's very jovial. He's very just always. He's very charismatic. He really does. He really knows how to like communicate one-on-one. He's definitely got that energy to him, and I'm excited to see that. And also, I mean, late bloomers is nothing new to like world football. I mean, you look at a guy like Jamie Vardy, who was playing non-league football until he got a call from Leicester, who were still in a championship when he signed with them, and then becomes a prolific goal scorer in the Premier League on one of the most unfathomable Premier League runs ever. Miroslav Klose struggled to break into top flight football until he was like in his late 20s, and now he's one of Germany's most decorated players and has a World Cup to his name. Even Didier Drogba didn't necessarily break into Chelsea until he was 26. So players grow at their own pace, and I do think that. And I also think that on the field, because I do want to shifting away from Tallis just a little bit, I do think you have like a lot of experience on that pitch now. You have a guy like Thiago Martins who's older now and very well traveled. You have a guy like Maxi Morales who is fighting Father Time so far and being probably the first to win. Not named Modric. So we're seeing him play well into his late 30s and possibly into his 40s, and still being very productive. Nico Fernandez has been around the block and Matt Freese is what, 27 now? Yeah. 26. Yeah. So, and the teams that he was primarily in, I mean, that 2022 team still had all that experience, if you recall. And then in 2023, that's when the experience got gutted out of the team. That's when you saw Chanot leave. That's when you saw Collins leave preseason. That's when you saw Sean Johnson leave. You saw a lot of that experienced core.
You saw Maxi leave for 6 months. Yeah,
Maxi left for Rossi.
And there was uncertainty as well that Santi wasn't going to come back until David Lee himself flew himself to Uruguay to convince him.
I mean, sure, but I mean, I wouldn't include Santi in that either anyway, even if he was with the team from the beginning, because when I think of experienced footballers in 2023, Santi Rodriguez does not spring to mind. Great player, love him, think he's extremely talented, but he was still a young player in his own right. And I think that also hurt the dynamics of those teams. The fact that you didn't have you didn't have that veteran leadership. I don't think it's a coincidence that once Maxey came back into that locker room, that tail end of 2023 was much more palatable, and as well as 2024, despite not being great, was at least tolerable. I think if you don't have a player like that, especially for those young South American players to look up to, because Maxey is respected in South American football. He's a Racing product. He played in those Argentina ranks with the likes of Sergio Aguero, and even got a call up to the senior team once upon a time. This is like a player who, like many of those younger guys, can look up to and can see themselves as like a realistic role model. And I do think that's important to have. And I'm excited about this team now because it has that experience. Not to mention you have guys like Keaton who are back into the fold, who now have more experience under their belt. Aiden O'Neill's been around. I feel really, really, really good about this team. I really do, going into 2026, with or without Silla.
You know what? Actually, that's probably a good time as any to probably bring that up.
Sweet.
Yeah, we look at the Silla deal right now. Now, I admit, this actually kind of surprised me a little bit. The fact that this deal fell through so late in the game.
I heard rumblings about it a few days ago, but I was like, it seemed to be fan driven. But there definitely seemed to be a glitch in the system, around Friday, and that's. But when they didn't announce the signing on Friday, and they were waiting through the weekend, because we knew he had his physical already. I was like, there's no way. I understand that your international transfer certificate and your visa aren't delivered overnight. That said, NYCFC announces those signings all the time without international transfer certificates and visas, and it's an interesting. Yeah, I don't know what to make of that. I guess. Davi kind of brought it up at the,
Yeah, he failed his physical, and there was a minor knee injury in there, and as well as the paperwork to come to the United States with the visas and everything. That everything just fell through. And Schalke, they recently signed Edin Dzeko, who made an impact on a game that he came in as a substitute.
I forgot Dzeko was still playing.
Yeah. Schalke's they were desperate to get rid of him, and I've been around their Twitter threads in the Schalkeverse, and yeah, they all wanted him gone. They desperately wanted him, desperately wanted money out of him, and I think somebody at CFG, if not maybe Todd Donovan or the staff over in Manchester that conducted his medical, maybe saw that there was a knee injury, and this was going to be, I think, about $7 or $8 million to Schalke to sign him permanently, and he would have been a DP. He would have been that third DP on the roster. So I think they were probably hesitant when they saw that, and maybe had we signed him, God forbid, he goes down in the preseason, or he goes down early on in the year, you're kind of fucked, because you don't. I don't think you have that many roster spots to begin with, and I know NYCFC, they don't use all of their cap space. They have about $5 million in GAM to spend, but I don't think they'd want to spend more money on another striker when they just bought a DP striker to fill in the role of Alonso Martinez for a good portion of the season. So I don't know. Me and Scott, we've been on here a couple times, and we've always said when are CFG's never not looking at players. So I would assume the next guy that we hear rumblings about coming over to New York City would be a similar profile to Silla and Alonso Martinez. But as of who that player is, we don't know, and we probably won't find out until somebody like Tom Bogert or an account out there that's we kind of question the credibility of breaks the news to us. But Todd Donovan, he was working trying to get a deal done for Justin Hack before he eventually picked LA, and I think he's coming and hit the ground running here, Todd Donovan. So I trust him, but as of the time frame, that's the part that kind of worries me, and that's really the frustrating part about this whole ordeal falling through.
Yeah, there was a lot of expectation and hope that this was going to, patch things up and give NYCFC a possibility of even having possibly even a two-striker setup, where you could have Silla on one side and also Alonso Martinez when he came back, and you had the two of them, which would have been a great threat, it would have been a little different of a setup than they usually run with like a 4-3-3 or anything like that.
Supposedly, this was going to be the long-term replacement for Alonso Martinez.
Alonso Martinez is probably on a clock. Well, who knows now with the ACL injury?
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of teams in Europe are going to be maybe a little more nervous to take a look at him.
Yeah, I was expecting this season. I mean, even before he got hurt, I was expecting this season, like looking into 2026 when we were still in the thick of the 2025 playoffs. I was expecting, well, I was thinking Alonso Martinez is now 27, I believe, 27 years old.
Yeah.
He's very experienced at the senior level when it comes to the game. He's been a professional since I believe he was a teenager. He's well-traveled with the Costa Rica national team, who have ranged anywhere from pretty decent to dreadful over the last 10 years, but for the most part, pretty competitive, always never an easy out in CONCACAF. And, like you see guys, you see teams in Europe, if not top, maybe not top flight teams, like their top teams, but you'll definitely see some, mid-table top 5 league teams go in for an experienced mid-20 striker who isn't probably going to get as rattled as a 21 rough prospect who still needs some refining, still needs some time in the refiner and time in the oven. And I was expecting him to be gone by the end of this year, if not before this year, and definitely during the summer. I didn't think that we would see a complete 2026 with Alonso in the fold. So on paper, it makes sense to find a striker. The thing is, it's like, do you want to slap a DP on a striker when you already have a prolific striker who eventually probably will come back? Because with an ACL injury, I don't think any teams will be going in for him this year. If he comes back,
benefit NYCFC a little bit.
Yeah, if he comes back and then heats up in that latter half of the year and then shows up in the playoffs, then maybe you see something. And maybe even like during like the sprint season that we're having at the beginning of next year, then maybe I can see a move still happening. But for now, I mean, I feel like Alonso's been reset to 0, and I do think that he needs to factor into our plans for at least the next year and a half. So DP striker, I mean, I remember when we signed Tylis, he spent like those first few months, he was not playing, he was hurt, and
a lot.
Yeah,
I think we bought him with the knee injury lingering around as well, right?
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, he had that knee injury lingering for at least a year before he came here. It's like one of the reasons why Real Madrid and Liverpool didn't go in for him back in the day. But it's a tough situation. I mean, like you say, Scott, CFG is always looking at a player. They have one of the most robust and expansive scouting networks, if not the most robust and expansive scouting networks in the world, not to mention the funds behind it. And do they have a backup plan? I mean, I would hope that once they started the physical and once they started noticing something, I would hope that Todd and co were on the phone with some people and saying, hey, this might not work out and we might have to restructure the deal. Let's go to the well and try to see if we can find players with similar profiles for a similar price. That said, you never know, because Todd Donovan or no Todd Donovan, we've seen it with Claudio Reyna and with David Lee in the past. This team's a very slow mover in the winter. Mm-hmm. And that's because the world of football is very slow moving in the winter. You don't see a lot of big time transfers. A lot of teams aren't willing to sacrifice depth unless it's for buku money, unless it's for ridiculous money. And a lot of teams are definitely not willing to sell their star player at this point, unless you're getting them directly from South America, who also have a season that aligns with how ours currently aligns. So weird time. Like I said, not completely heartbroken over it, because we still have some options. Obviously, we've talked about Tallis extensively ad nauseum at the beginning of this podcast. You still have Nico Fernandez. You still have Augustin Ojeda. You still have Hannes Wolf. Maxi Morales is still going to play attacking positions across the front three and in the midfield throughout the year. You still have Seymour Reed, who's waiting for his breakthrough, who I do think needs a pathway to minutes. And I do think that you need to provide a pathway to minutes for Maximo Carrizo, who has very limited burn so far, but has looked pretty decent. I remember he almost scored that goal against Philly last year. And I was about to say, like, if this kid scores his debut goal against Philly, that on the road, that would be ridiculous. And you do still have to find pathways for these players. And Malachi Jones, talked about him yet. Malachi Jones is still on the periphery, so
Breaks my soul he
Yeah.
hasn't played for so long.
yeah.
He's a good kid too, man.
Yeah, no, I love Malachi. He's great.
He's a good dude. I think maybe that's the reason why the club felt comfortable letting go of Julian Fernandez, because I think they know Malachi Jones. I think he has a higher ceiling than Julian Fernandez, and I think they know something about his health and his status. Maybe he is closer to playing than what us, the public, know. Obviously, their medical records and all that is confidential, and they keep that in house for good reason. So, I think that's why they felt so comfortable letting go of some like Julian Fernandez.
I think they are also comfortable letting go of Julian Fernandez because they thought that they were getting a Musa Sila as well.
Yeah, that too.
He was loaned out earlier last week, and I don't think the deal had fallen through by that point. So
no, it was still. I think they had just agreed to the terms and everything, and Sila was in the process of getting ready to go to Manchester.
I think that might have had more to do with it personally.
Yeah.
Now we do have a press conference with Pascal Janssen tomorrow at 3 p.m. So Musa Sila is guaranteed to be in that conversation, probably even leading off. Wouldn't surprise me. First or second question. But if that doesn't happen, we can always ask about the status of Malachi Jones, see where that stands. If the decision to let go of Julian Fernandez was maybe a regrettable one in hindsight, knowing that Sila was no longer available, what the game plan is. There's a lot of options tomorrow. Also, by the way, the other person on that supposedly tentatively is going to be Kevin O'Toole. So he's back for another season with the team. Who knows what his future is going to be like, aside from the fact he's getting married, I think in December or August. I forget which. So,
congratulations, Kevin.
Yes,
you ever watch this?
Yes. I may ask him about that tomorrow.
I don't know. Just to kind of point something out. I think Nico Cavallo was playing fullback yesterday in the game, and he started at left back. I don't know where Kevin was playing. Was he playing winger?
Probably defensive midfield. I would wager. That's where he was playing during the Philly match away. I went to that match, freezing effing cold. But I didn't. I was just so excited. It was
well worth it. It was well worth it.
And to be fair, he does. I don't know if he necessarily has the profile to do that long term. I definitely can see him fitting in there as an option, as a breaking case of emergency option in the midfield, especially with Pepe injured. Mm-hmm. That said, I mean, we've seen Keaton Parks. I didn't even know that Keaton Parks was this far along and playing minutes in this preseason. So seeing him on the pitch made me feel infinitely better. I mean, obviously you love to have a player like Pepe with his energy, with his demeanor, and his talent to boot. But I'll take a healthy Keaton Parks as well. Yeah. That'll be nice.
I think also shutting him down pretty early on in 2025 also really helped with that. He was probably already ready by, I'd say, maybe November, December.
Yeah. And he's still got Aiden O'Neill and Johnny Shore in there too, who are very talented.
Not only that, you also got Kai Traywin coming in. So
who can?
Here's my question in this case. Now, one of the things Hannes Wolf talked about was the adjustment of having to play over here in the first season. So you see his numbers season 1 to season 2. There's a marked difference. With Aiden O'Neill, there was some struggle there, with adapting to the new schedule, the new time zone change. I mean, my God, you're literally flipping it on its head there. Yeah. Now that he's had the off season, 2-part question, do you think? A, do you think he's any better this season? And B, what kind of guidance can that provide Kai?
A, I think so. And B, I think having a compatriot at a club is always a net benefit. I think it's always nice when someone is with you who knows you, who speaks your dialect and knows your culture and, knows all those weird idiosyncrasies we have across
the they're talking about down there.
Yeah, exactly. Down under.
Talking about ISL and all that shit.
It's nice. It's always nice, especially across English-speaking countries, because we're all so different culturally, and and the only thing that we share is the language, and half the time we can't understand each other to begin with. So, I mean, I'd love to put somebody from Australia and Scotland in a bar and just see what happens.
Oh God!
No, I think so, and B, it can't hurt. It definitely can't hurt. There can only be a benefit. If anything, it's a marginal benefit, but a marginal benefit is still better than no benefit at all. What about you, Davi? A and B?
Yeah, I think he's going to get better. I expect him to be a co-captain, one of the big four captains in the locker room. I mean, especially now with Justin Hack gone, I think he could step up in a role in leadership. He was a captain at his previous club, Standard Liège. So who knows if I was saying last year, if we don't pick up Martin's option for whatever reason, or he doesn't want to come back, I would expect Aidan O'Neill to be one of the candidates to be the full-time captain. So, I think somebody of his stature, at somebody his age, it's nice to finally bring in somebody that's been around the block and is in his prime of his career,
As opposed
and
to
not
another
just
19-year-old.
Yeah, and it's as opposed to bringing over 19, 20-year-olds who are unproven raw and probably first time in the United States ever. So. So I think he'll probably take a step up, and now that he's acclimated to the league and living in the United States, I think nothing but up. But for Aidan O'Neill,
I'm a little surprised Thiago Martins was brought back though, especially on that salary.
Yeah, well, it's weird. It's weird too because if he's not on a DP contract, I don't expect that he took a 50% pay cut and is making because he was making. I think he was making like what a base salary of 1.5 and guaranteed salary of like 2.
Yeah, he was making just over 2.
It was like 2.1 or something.
Yeah.
That's a lot of targeted allocated money, generally allocated money. Tam Gam, thank you, ma'am, to cover up that discrepancy to build out. Shout out to Dudes in Blue. That's. I don't know how they're, but then again, I mean, Inter Miami is doing some pretty wild things down there. So why not us as well, right? Like if we can play with a bit of monopoly money, if you will.
That's scary this year.
Yeah.
Also, is with them.
Yeah. I can't say I'm surprised that Thiago Martins came back because I am surprised that we picked up his option because I don't know what that option entails. Is that like is there some like deferments? Is there some Shohei Ohtani like deferments that are wrapped up in those the like that option and also Hannes Wolf is making a ton of money. He's in the 7 figures. Now granted I think Hannes Wolf is a terrific player and I think he's earned his worth. I would prefer him to be on a lower salary. It's kind of the same with Thiago Martins. We know how good he is. We know how important he is. DP, it's tough to reconcile with. But I was a little surprised when he came back. I was thinking that maybe, especially, how old is he now? Maybe like 30, 31?
31.
It really depends on how much money he's making. I'm surprised. If he did take a pay cut, I'm surprised he took it. I'll say that much.
Also, with what happened in Atlanta last year, I mean, I guess the team got past it and everything like that, where, the goal was allowed and you went after Matt Freese, on international camera.
Yeah, I've seen him and Matt go at it since Matt first got into net. I'm not too sure like what the deal is there, but I mean, when they're actually around each other, they seem to be quite friendly. I think there's just certain different kind of leaders, there's like guys who like demand you to be excellent at every second of the time. And when you don't, you're going to get chewed out. That's just how it is.
Puyol,
Puyol was like that. If you weren't on your game and you were switched off for a second, Puyol would all but punch you in the face to get you back on track. I mean, they went through a lot together like last season and played a lot of matches, a lot of high stakes matches, and won most of the high stakes ones up until the end. And I'm glad to keep him in there because I do think he's important for our shape. I do think he's important to the way we play, especially out of the back. And I think he's a very good leader for this team. That said, I'm with you, Scott. I don't know how we were able to swing that one. I don't know how we're going to cook the books this year to make up for 2 players not on DP contracts, mind you, being on 7-figure contracts, presumably.
And also keeping in mind, obviously looking at contracts as well, the fact that NYCFC was basically backing up the truck for Justin Hack.
Yeah.
Now I don't know in this case here, but they contacted me before the press conference was announced that Justin Hack deliberately took less money to go to LA, possibly to bank on himself in a shorter contract. But
so I've actually heard
really willing to throw money on that.
I heard something different. I can't say who told me, but it's somebody who speaks to a lot of the players. He showed me a text message that he had.
I have a feeling I know who that might be, but I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, I don't want to say any name. You might know who it is, but apparently LA did offer him at least the same amount of money. And maybe there were incentives thrown in there as well, because sometimes we get lost in base salary. Base salary can sometimes be just a way to get you down under certain thresholds when it comes to MLS's convoluted ass roster rules, and then or MLB, and then they throw incentives at the end. I can't wait for that lockout. That lockout's going to be fun.
The Dodgers currently have a deferred money.
It's going to be a very fun lockout. It's going to be a very fun lockout. What about you, Davi? You stoked for the MLB lockout?
I don't follow baseball that much, but
God damn it, you're missing out on some nerd stuff.
That's baseball, man. Base stars.
Yeah.
You know, they have an 18-minute fire show pretty much after every game, and they sing and dance to it. I've seen it.
Yomiuri Giants for me.
No judgment. No judgment.
Yeah.
Yokohama's my second home, so you know what? I got to go base stars.
All I know is that they beat the Yankees in the World Series a couple years back. So, so it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But I mean, they beat the Red Bulls. LA beat Red Bull for us a few months later, so they kind of made up for it in a way. But that's gonna make some big headlines in ESPN and in the sports world when the lockout happens in baseball. So. So we'll probably blame the Dodgers for that.
And you know what the messed up part about it is? It'll finally be an MLB lockout, and NYCFC will not be using Yankee Stadium anymore, so it won't mean anything to them. Thanks.
Right on that. Which means, by the way, you know, it sucks because this is the downside. Okay, I get the fact, and you guys understand. I get the fact that, you know, they're getting the new stadium, and props to that, respect to that, but the food at Yankee Stadium. You know, I mean, it's New York strip, it's penne and vodka, the ice cream, the coffee's on tap.
The pulled pork.
Like, what's that?
The pulled pork.
Pulled pork. See, there you go. So it's like, and now I hate to say it, this is going to sound so diva-like, but it's like, what are we in for? Are we going to get decent stuff here? And listen, I'm not expecting.
I mean, you're in Queens, and like Queens got everybody, so you best believe they're going to get some good food. I mean, City Field's got some good food in its own right, so
it does, yeah.
You could bring some vendors across the street. I'm pretty sure of it. So
good, yeah.
I don't know who's going to be our vendor at Etihad Park.
Pollo Campero.
Sheesh, could you imagine? Legends Global. Who does Legends Global work with?
Are they Coke or Pepsi? That's a very important question to me.
Pfizer.
I'm actually a Pepsi challenge guy. I've always preferred Pepsi over Coke, and people look at me like I have four heads.
No judgment. Not the same. I mean, cherry Coke over cherry Pepsi, I admit. But
I do love a good cherry Coke. Don't get me wrong.
What did you say it was? Global what? The vendor?
Legends Global. So apparently they service AT&T Stadium in Arlington. So Dallas Cowboys. They also service the Barclays Center.
Okay.
I've never been to the Barclays Center because I'm a Knicks fan, and why I would ever want to go to the Barclays Center is beyond me. When we have Madison Square, we have MSG right here. But I've never had the food there. They do Crypto Arena. Well, I don't even like calling it that. That feels disgusting. It's the Staples. It's the Staples Center. It's always going to be the Staples Center. I'm trying to look for football stadiums, soccer stadiums. I don't see any in the United States. I don't even see any abroad. They do the AO Arena in Manchester and the First Direct Arena. They do arenas. They don't seem to do many stadiums. So
well, I mean, for all intents and purposes, Etihad is more of an arena anyway.
It's a park.
Yeah,
I know.
Like MetLife Stadium is, or for that. But
I will say those images that are that I'm very shocked at at all the stereotypes about New York construction. They're paid by the hour. how quickly that thing's gone up. I mean, you look at the
yeah.
progress just from a year ago to like where it is now. You can basically see the shell of the stadium now. It's just missing, the actual seats, the pitch, and the amenities. Really, it feels like the skeleton feels there. Like it's. I got emotional looking at it the other night. Like I wish I was joking. I caught.
No,
I
I
was
get it.
I was doom scrolling at midnight, and it was like on Friday, and I was having a rough day, and then I just opened up X for some reason, as if that was going to make me happy. And the first thing I saw was Etihad Park, the south side seats going up, and I'm just like, wow, I'm at a loss.
Yeah.
I don't
one more year at Yankee Stadium and Citi Field, and then Etihad Park next year. So
yeah, I can't wait. I am going to miss the South Bronx in terms of just everything around the stadium.
Yeah, the bodega and everything like that.
Yeah, like our bodega.
Jersey too.
Yeah, like it's super easy. I mean that's not to say that Citi Field isn't super, like the transportation there isn't streamlined. It's just a little bit longer. From like I live in Jersey as well now. I can't afford New York prices anymore. Sorry. I love New York. It's in my blood, but it's too goddamn expensive.
You're expatting New York like the rest of them are.
Yeah, but yeah, I am. The trip to the Bronx is very, very quick, and like I said, it's the stuff around it, all the shops, all the bars, the food, that area in Queens specifically. Queens has everything in spades. Willits Point specifically, the Valley of Ashes itself.
It's just been nothingness for over a century.
Yeah, it's the Valley of Ashes. That's why they call it.
The problem is that with Etihad Park, much like Citi Field, you have 7 train or LARR. Now, I had to take the 7 train on Tuesday, and because of some kind of a fire that happened like 14th Street, somewhere around like Grand Central, the entire system on the 7 line was completely fakaked. At least with Yankee Stadium, you have BD and 4 plus buses as well. But so you lose a little bit of that when you go to Etihad and Queens. But it is what it is.
And the Long Island Railroad is quicker and a little bit more expedited, but it's way more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's still like a 15 to 20 minute train ride from New York Penn. You only have to get to that one stop at I'm blanking on the city's name, Woodside. You only have to get through Woodside. That said, I mean, it's a 7 trains down, and you have to spend like not $8 on a LIRR ticket. It's gonna be
and that those prices only went up after in 2026. So
that said, with a new neighborhood going there as well, I do expect that infrastructure to slowly change, not quickly, but slowly change over the next 5 to 10 to 15 years. So I think that maybe
supposedly a ferry service as well they wanted to implement to get over to the marina lot, but I'm not sure how. I'm not really.
Do you mean
that's gonna go through?
Do you mean ferry, or do you mean party bus on water? Could you imagine? Could you imagine like 500?
Whatever your preferences. Whatever your preferences.
Sorry, I derailed a little bit.
Son, imagine winning the MLS Cup at Etihad Park, and you just get on a party bus on water. Oh my god, dude! Everyone's waking up wasted after that.
Well, it won't be a ferry after that; it will be a buoy. But sorry, we got off track a little bit.
No, dude, that's perfectly fine. I mean, the fact that actually we stayed on track as long as we did impresses me. Also, given the fact that I was going to actually do this as a tier list and pretty much drop that idea about a half an hour ago, because we just started talking about everything anyway. Fudge it. We could
try to do a speed run of a tier list. I wouldn't mind giving it a shot. Why not?
All right, give me a second.
Is it like NYCFC player by NYCFC player?
Basically, yeah. It's the off season and whatever, and basically what happened with it.
And do we have to come to a consensus, or?
Yeah, I don't know. Winging it as I go.
Okay.
But in this case, like I said, I mean, we got Justin Hack, Nietzsche Illich, who we've not talked about tonight. Tylus, we kind of did. Julian Fernandez, we did. Sela, we did. Mac Leonard, we didn't. Jovan, we didn't. And Kai, we talked about some. So I'm going to move Kai over here. Save some.
Okay. So what are each tier? And
so basically we have S tier, which means the move on, it benefits NYCFC massively. A tier, which is solid. B tier was okay. C tier is like, and then basically the bottom is crap baskets, Where like
Okay.
that.
Oh, you
move
could put
just-
Sela in crap baskets now because that's not.
Well, we don't even have to put
I
Sela
originally
there
named
because
that one the Musa Sela category too.
yeah.
Yeah.
I actually. Well, I mean, Musa Sela being in there kind of like it feels weird to me because he never came to begin with. He's kind of like the new
I know.
George John of this team.
I had it
That's a
set
deep
up
cut for some of you guys.
Yeah, I really had I had him on the thumbnail, and I had it all set up and everything like that. And then last minute, I had to put a question mark on the thumbnail because I deleted all the stuff that I thought I was going to need it. So yeah, I left him in here because.
I think there's one that all three of us are going to agree on, and that's Justin Hack. He has to go into crap baskets because there is no benefit to losing a player who has developed the way that Justin Hack is. He's a homegrown player, so for practical reasons and salary reasons and roster building reasons, he's a big help. And on the pitch, he's a good player to boot. Like, there's no benefit to losing him.
Yeah, just like Eric Adams, you're going to see the Brooklyn in me.
Here's the other side of it too. He knows everything there is to know about NYCFC and plays them week one. So he is a literal playbook on that entire squad. And that's going to make it a lot tougher for NYCFC. And especially given the moves that LA Galaxy have made in the offseason with him, with Glesnes, with JK just coming down the pipe. You know, I mean,
Klaus.
that team is looking a lot better than they did last year.
Yeah, Joao Klaus as well from St. Louis on a fly.
So, Micha Ilinic.
You and I, we like Micha as a person, man. He was a good
do.
I think it's a BC. It's whatever you guys want.
Yeah, it's not crap baskets. I do think he's very valuable depth, so I am kind of inclined to put him in C because he's solid and kind of proven. Then again, it's hard because it's a loan, right? Like, and unless like they're paying some of his salary, and unless they're paying like one of those monthly fees for the loans, which are pretty common, and does explain why we elect to loan these young players out, because there is a financial benefit, especially if there's optional fees or mandatory fees involved. It's tough, and who's the kid that we have? Drew Baera?
Drew Baera, yeah, he'll be RB2.
I mean, to me, losing Micha, I almost put it as a C because he is, you know, he always also, not just basically from an on-field standpoint, but he always had a really good attitude. Even when the team lost, he always kept a smile on his face. He always had a good persona, you know. So his, you know, the decision that he had to leave and all this kind of stuff surprised me a little bit. But at the same time, he was hanging out with Munsef Bakrar over the Christmas break. So you have to wonder, maybe something like that might have instituted something a little here too, because Bakrar is killing it over there with Z-Rob.
To be fair, they put him on the best team in that nation. So
and he's also not playing in a city where everybody hates you automatically just for showing up.
Cue the Pedro Pascal laughing then crying gif. I'll put him in C. It's not the worst. Like it's not to the level of Hack. We can't put him on the level of Hack. It is pretty bad.
Yeah,
and it does hurt our depth, and it hurts just having a guy like that around. Somebody who isn't rattled, somebody who's always has a good attitude, who's someone who, you know, from what I know, is pretty well liked in that locker room. So like, you never like losing guys like that.
And he always had passion when he played. He cared for the badge. He really loved his time here, and you know, playing it for New York City. He really loved it here. So it sucks, but it's but at the same time, he soundly got beat out for the position when Tavon Gray was ready to go at 100%. So it sucks, but it is exciting for Drew Baera to be that RB2, and I'm looking forward to what he has to offer on the field.
Fair. Tylus, we already talked a fair bit about Tylus, and I have a guess where you guys are going to drop him, but it's still early. It's still early yet.
I'm going to put him personally. If I had the cursor, I would put him in B or A. I'm not going to put him in S tier because we don't know what Talus we're going to get, because we must admit Talus does come with some baggage, and nothing's a guarantee here. I do think it's good that there's not a David Lee or a Nick Cushing lurking behind the door to scare him. That said, Pascal demands a lot of his players. Like, we all liked Micha, and Micha found his way out of the team and never found his way back in. So Pascal does seem to there does seem to be a disciplinary part of aspect to
Very
his
much so, yeah.
management system that is going to play. I'm inclined to say B. I'm optimistic, but cautiously optimistic.
Something we may revisit if we do a cheer list later in the year.
Especially if we don't get a striker before time, or especially if they play him at striker. I do think that if you don't have, without Silla coming in, I do still think that Nico fits into that 9 position for now, with Talas and any combination of Hannes Wolf and Augustine Ojeda working off of that pivot in the attack. That's how I would do it personally, but I'm also not an expert. But I could see him going easily up to A or S. I could also see him going down all the way to C. If there's any player that has the range, it's Talas Magno.
What are you thinking, Davi?
I would agree. I mean, I would love to put him in S because he's a great player, but I mean, again, just what Christian said, it's too early, and not only that, I mean, Micha was, I mean, he was a good guy, but Pascal is a very demanding coach, and if you don't do what he says, or if you show up late to a training session, or even pulling up to a game late, there's going to be disciplinary action. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Hansi Flick at Barcelona, where Jules Koundé absolutely loves playing for Hansi Flick, and in his first year when he came late to a practice session, he actually benched him for a game. He benched him for the first half of a game in La Liga early on in his tenure. So, I mean, I would put him in A, mainly because I'm really optimistic. I'm really high on Talas Magno, especially with the clips that we saw from him in yesterday's game. But I mean, I can understand B. B's understandable as well.
Yeah.
But supposedly, I got some news. Supposedly, Sila was all the eggs in one basket. We do not have a backup plan. So
yeah, that's the problem with that too.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know. So, unless they identify somebody for a cheaper price and not going to take up a DP spot, that's it.
Like I said, we're asking Pascal Janssen this one tomorrow. Right? We're probably leading it
pretty
off.
Much. Yeah. So I don't know.
So who do you got next? Who's that?
I can't.
Kai Traywin.
You needed Kai to. I mean, it's early, but you needed him to replace Justin Hack.
Yeah, he's the perfect profile to replace Justin Hack. Like if Justin Hack, according to the scouting reports, because I'll be completely honest, I don't watch a lot of A-League football, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry, it's not like really like on my radar in Australian times. I have a hard enough time watching the Australian Grand Prix, which is the first race of every single F1 season, and that because it just starts at. Can I swear?
Go for it.
It starts at 2 fucking a.m. like Eastern Standard Time, and
supposedly the NFL has a game in Melbourne. This season coming up, so
you enjoy. You have fun with that. I'm gonna put him. Yeah, that's an easy A for me personally because he fits according to the profile and according to the scouting reports. He is a like for like replacement for Justin Hack. Will he be a like for like replacement for Justin Hack? We don't know, but from a general manager front office perspective, it's an A. You made the move that you needed to do. You made it quickly.
Sure.
And because we haven't kicked the ball yet in a competitive way yet this year. So him arriving, hopefully he arrives with the team before we start. It's going to be tough because this season's going to creep up on us. Our first match is in what, like 3 weeks, 21 days, 20?
Oh, yeah, 3 weeks. Less than 3 weeks.
Yeah. So I'm inclined to say A. That would be my
this week as well.
I'll go A.
Yeah, I'll go A with Kai. Kai, right? That's his name.
Kai.
Yep.
Oh, he's definitely a bro. This dude
He's from New South Wales, NSW.
So I'm
probably guessing Adelaide Giants or St. Kitts.
Yeah, with a name like Kai, definitely serves.
You can take penalties as well. I mean, Justin Hack was really good at penalties. This guy can take penalties too.
Just keep him away from Jersey and away from hatchets, and he should be fine. There will be some people who understand that and some people who don't. It's okay. But interesting story of that. Oh God, this guy.
Moving on to Sila.
You have to call it. You have to call it like it. But here's the thing. Maybe it was good maybe it was a good executive move on Todd's part. If you noticed a knee injury and you noticed like, hey, we need to restructure this. We'd like to turn this into a loan instead of a transfer. Because this could have been, this is a DP contract player right here.
Mm-hmm.
Things better be on the up and up when, you're looking at the goods. And, they obviously saw something that caught their attention and was alarming to the point where they were trying to restructure this transfer that was already apparently signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah.
So I understand why we need to put him in crap baskets just for just for the legitimacy of the tier list. I understand. At the same time, if you notice something's wrong and then the club is like, no take backsies, then maybe if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, then maybe it's duck. And maybe that is an S tier decision right now that we can pay off in the summer with a DP pickup or in the coming weeks. We don't know. Again, CFG is always looking at players. Their scouting network is unrivaled. I put CFG scouting network over anybody's. So
here's the other problem with this, though. Now that this didn't work and NYCFC is still lacking a bona fide striker, the rest of the league knows the asking price can now be higher, because you could see, especially if NYCFC starts to struggle out of the gate scoring offensively, you could see the team become more desperate, which means they might be forced to give away more in order to actually get a solid 9. So you can see other teams basically raising those asking prices because they know what's going on here.
Yeah. Maybe.
Just a thought.
Yeah, supposedly as well this has come from the German side, like the German reporters, that supposedly Schalke was also hiding the fact that he had a lingering knee injury. So I think that speaks to the volumes of how desperate they are to get rid of this guy.
Sure.
So,
broke club activities. That's what they are. I don't know if anyone here is a Football Manager player. In Football Manager 24, I was managing Schalke. And almost every single time early in the save, they go into administration and you have to restructure debt. So, and they still haven't been able to get back to the top flight. They got relegated a while ago when Matthew Hoppe was still on the team. Remember that? Yeah. And used to be a giant club. I would say they're still giant instead. There's still a name that you recognize. If you say Schalke.
You still pull 61,000 fans a week in Bundesliga 2.
It's still a name in German football. It's still a name in world football that has weight. That said, they have come upon rough times. So I'm not surprised that they would try to hide something in order to get a $7 million payday, especially if they're in the financial constraints that they are reported to be in. That said, that is one that will not go into either C, B, or A. That's either S or that's crap baskets at the end of the season.
For now, because again, this is from looking at it from purely today's standpoint. You thought you had the problem fixed, and now you're back to square one. That's the thing about this.
Yeah, no, it's a setback either way. And
supposedly the front office doesn't even have a backup plan. So
yeah. It's like the broken glass fallacy, right? Yeah, we got the glass fixed eventually, but you still broke the goddamn glass.
Which means you got to wonder: is the team going to try and put Tallis Magno at 9 again? Because you don't have a 9.
I mean, I could see him and Nico rotating as a false 9. Maybe one falls back, one goes up, and then they kind of just swap interchange.
Not to mention, you've still got Trapito and you've still got Hannes Wolf in there too. It's. I understand that we're lacking for a true 9 right now. We are not lacking for options in the attack as a whole, because you have to remember, Ojeda's still factoring in there. You got Tallis back in the fold. Maxi is still in the fold. Nico Fernandez, who I'd love to talk about, phenomenal player.
Malachi as well.
Malachi is coming up. Carrizo's coming up.
Seymour Reed's on the bench, but you don't want to pressurize a young 18-year-old.
I understand you don't want to pressurize him, but if there's anybody who can take advantage of the pathway 2 minutes, it's him. These are kind of like one of those situations where a young player, the pathway is there, and if you're going to become that guy, we can start seeing those signs now. But yeah, no, it's a setback. A setback is a setback. Moose, yeah, it belongs in crap.
I mean, that's how Tom Brady got his start, and look how that turned out.
Yeah,
not just Tom Brady, but also Tony Romo. Both of them were backups to Drew Bledsoe.
Yeah.
Julian Fernandez.
I'd say B or C, probably low. low on that on that list.
Well,
I mean,
no, I'm not going to say low because I don't think Julian never grew into what he grew into, and also he came in on the heels of Gabby Pereira going out,
yeah.
and he had impossible shoes to fill to begin with, and that penalty miss against Charlotte in the playoffs could have been extremely costly. The miss against Inter Miami was costly. The goal against Columbus will live on forever as like one of those like were you there moments, and yes, I was, and he had his moments. I'm going to say moving on is an 8. I'm going to say it's an A-tier move. I don't see a pathway. I don't see a pathway for Julian to become a player. He's had his opportunities to show what he can do, and honestly, it just there was a period during last season where I was starting to like not panic sell my stock in Julian, but eventually by the end of the season, I was like, it's just we can do better.
Mm-hmm.
I this is going to sound harsh, and I don't want it to. Will I miss him? I probably won't even remember he was there. Like come March or April, like who do we have options? And someone might say Julian Fernandez, and I might say, oh, I forgot about that guy. Like
so much so that Talis Magno took his 11 jersey immediately.
Yeah. No, I'm. Especially if we can generate a sale for money, for cash, because there is an optional fee on that. I'd say it's an A-tier move. We shook the tree to see what came out of it and got a few apples out of it. Not necessarily a basket.
Fair enough.
Not a feast. That's my personal opinion.
Davi?
I'd say B, C. I don't know. I mean, what's the most you command for a permanent fee of Julian Fernandez? And plus, I mean, the little flashes of brilliance that he had was just way too little in the amount of playing time that he had over the course of the past 2.5 years. He just didn't show enough.
Rosario Central is a pretty big club in Argentina, though, and they will they do have the potential to pay a good fee.
He will play alongside Di Maria, so
yeah, and they will pay a big fee if they need to. So I mean, I'm willing to say B. I'm not gonna.
I'm willing to go B in this case here, only because of the fact that it is a loan; it's not permanent transfer, and who knows? Maybe something could happen with this, but it's not like when you get rid of Santi Rodriguez for what 16 million, 17 million.
Yeah, it's not that kind of thing.
They got more from Santi Rodriguez and Columbus got for Cucho Hernandez and Cucho in Europe.
Dude.
And he's been killing it for Betis as well.
It's a weird market in it.
Yeah.
Now, the last two that I've got here, honestly, there's probably not a whole lot to say on them. Mac Learned and Jovan. Mac Learned moves up to the first team. Congratulations.
Who?
I threw him in here because actually I knew him when he was on second team. I interviewed him once. And really nice kid, good story. And it was like, you know what? Congratulations on that. Rando is out, but he moves up.
Mac Learned. Here's the thing, it's Matt Freese's job until it's not.
Yeah.
Nobody's
after that.
Yeah, like we're talking about the starting number one, most likely for the United States in a few months in the World Cup, which is also an insane chance for visibility, especially if he goes off in this tournament for New York City, and a chance to flip him for a very, very, very good price. That said, I think that's kind of what this move is. Like, you still have your, Tomas Romero as like your deputy for when Matt Freese isn't available.
And then you got Greg as GK3, who will probably be bumped to GK2 if Freese does leave. So.
Yeah, but I also don't think. No offense to Greg, I've never met the gentleman. I don't think that the long-term goalkeeper picture for NYCFC has him in it. He definitely has that. Who was the one guy with the very impressive cheekbones that we had for all those years? Cody Mizell. He's
goalkeeper coach for DC now.
Yep. He's a Cody Mizell for me. He's an experienced guy. He was actually one of the MLS pool guys during the pandemic. That would just be loaned out to clubs should they need an emergency option. So you know what? Because we're not going to have one on here, I'm going to say Mac Learned as an S tier pickup just because it's a homegrown goalkeeper. Homegrown.
Sure, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who
why
has
not?
You didn't have that one on a bingo card,
Could-
but screw it.
Here's the thing, because like talking about Matt Freese, it's very possible this is Matt Freese's last season
That's what I thought
in
last
an
year.
in a New York City kit, if not his last half season.
Yeah.
Depending on how he performs in that World Cup. Because if American goalkeepers are one places where America isn't mocked for, really, because we produce tons of them. Not so much in recent years that have had longevity. Ethan Horvath just came back to the States.
Matt Turner.
But yeah, Matt Turner didn't work out the way we thought he would.
Zach Steffen as well.
Zach Steffen didn't work out the way we thought we did. Definitely tough post Howard and Guzan and Friedel. That said, if Matt Freese impresses, he'll go to a big team, probably in over the summer, and that'll be his platform. So we do, I do think Tomas Romero would take the number one in that case. And I like Tomas, to be fair. I think he's been darn solid. He's the BYU of goalkeepers, darn solid.
Even Matt Freese too. He's like 24.
Yes,
24, 25.
So yeah, and also I'm always going to say S tier to homegrown players. I love a homegrown signing. I love that pipeline that we have. And I mean, our pipeline, for the most part, has produced some fairly impressive players. Johnny Shore emerged last year as I love Johnny Shore, man. I'm a Johnny Shore stan. Tavon Gray is great. We're starting, hopefully we get some of that James Sands money soon. Not to mention
hopefully
players
Seymour steps into that as well.
Yeah, Joe Scally, another homegrown that we saw grow in front of our eyes. The homegrowns for us, for the most part, have either, and Justin Hack.
Yeah.
Justin Hack is not a player who I would put in no crap baskets if he left after 2023. It's insane. And to think how important he became, I mean, the proof is in the pudding.
Just to think that he came pretty close to leaving in 2024 as well.
Yeah.
If Andres Pereira doesn't go down, he's gone.
Yeah, I'm always going to put a homegrown signing in S tier because it's just good business. It's good to have those guys around.
So nice.
Would you agree, Davi and Scott? Do you guys agree?
Yeah,
I mean,
Or am I crazy?
I didn't put a lot of stock in Mac Learned or Jovan in this case here, but if you want to make them an S tier just for the fun of it, I am fine with that.
We can make either Jovan an S tier or Jovan gets his own.
So I would put
tier.
I would put Jovan in A. You know what the thing about Jovan is just he never grew into any. Yeah, it felt like he was kind of like a reluctant player for us to begin with because he had other options. And also, to be fair, he was coming as a very highly touted prospect from Red Star, which is a very reputable club in European circuits, constantly in Europa League and Champions League play. Yeah. And now he, for him to go there and also being looked at other clubs, like I believe Feyenoord was in there, some really good respect. Yeah, Aston Villa. It's for him to go to MLS probably at his age. He probably thought that was a downgrade, and he just never really had the profile of a player that would be successful here. The big bulky strikers have just never found its way into an NYCFC system since Nemec. I think the most productive we've seen is Burgett, but even he was not as big and lanky, and also he's mostly remembered as being kind of crap baskets for us. And yeah, no, I just wish that we would sell him on at this point because he's been gone for a minute. But honestly, A tier on just account of him saying, be ready, I score a lot of goals, and then scoring one goal in a cup competition.
And the most meaningless game of that year.
Yeah, and then never seeing him again, waste his time 2024. Yeah, I wish it had been different, but it's just not.
This guy has the same amount of pedestrians hit as goals for New York City.
Can I ask you guys a question? How much money do you think we can get for a Jovan Mijatovic at this point? How much money do you think a European side like a Braunschweig or like a Leuven before them would have paid for him?
I don't know
Well,
about
at the moment, right now,
now. Yeah, I was saying probably
Yeah.
not much. He'd have to prove himself. a
2
little
to
bit.
4.
Yeah.
4 being optimistic, 2 being realistic.
Is that your price range as well, Scott?
I think I can go behind that. Yeah, I would have maybe even dropped it to 1 to 3 even.
Yeah,
Probably.
maybe. Yeah. Yeah. If you can unload him, that would be good.
End your losses. Cut your losses at some point.
What was the transfer fee for Jovan?
It was like
Mijovic?
8 mil.
Ooh.
It was yeah.
And how much money was he making?
I got no clue, but
350.
350.
Oh, okay. But
Yeah.
there's no way you're recouping that 8 mil for Jovan. So
Another guy,
you can.
it's kind of like Julian for me. I forgot that Jovan Mijovic was even on the team when they announced that he had gone on loan to Braunschweig. Like I didn't even remember. I forgot that. That's like one of those, like, I don't know, like that entire 2023, 2024 is like the primordial darkness for me in terms of NYCFC history. It's just a void that I just try to avoid. And also it coincided with some of the most challenging times of my life outside. So I was especially salty about those times. I was like, I need you right now for all the times. I need you right now. And you're just not there.
8.6 million was the transfer fee. I looked it up.
Oh,
How
God.
much was it again?
8.6.
8.6.
Jesus Christ.
But they still have him under a deal to like 2031 though. I just checked spot track.
Right.
So.
We're not recouping that money. Just get what you can from him.
You also have to remember, though, in those MLS salary sheets, sometimes a player on loan, more often than not, almost always a portion of their salary, at least half of it, is being covered by the club that he's being loaned to.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, that's another thing that I've been seeing. Like, there seems to be some idea that Talis Magno was taking up a DP spot while he was gone. That's not true. We saw it with Mitrica when he went out on loan. Once he went out on loan, the first thing I did was message our press department and saying, hey, does that free up a DP spot? They're like, yes, him being on loan through a certain amount of time does free up a DP spot, which is how we were able to get Talis Magno as that third DP that 1 year when Mitrica was still under contract.
Who was the DP? Maxi Magno. Who was the third one? Was it Medina or was it somebody else?
Medina.
Not anymore now.
It was Medina in 2021. Yeah, it was Medina. Maxi Morales.
I thought his DP deal or DP status expired.
He was on it. As far as I know, he was on a designated player contract with Maxi Morales and Talis Magno, I believe. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Well, what a way to go out. Played really well in 2021 and won a championship. What a way to go out.
You know what the crazy thing is? If I said on paper, hey, Jesus Medina and Talis Magno are your DPs this year, do you win an MLS Cup? Probably most people blind taste tests. No. But that was also like a lot of the players that we built that team, like Goody Torrenson, Thiago Andrade had a few splashes. Yeah, Callens. A lot of those, like,
both goals.
Tennerholm as well.
Massive player for us. Yeah, I think from the looks of it, at that point it was, or maybe Maxi's. I don't know.
I think Maxi was a DP until he left the first time, and then he came back on a lower salary. I think that's how it
This
went.
is bothering me. Sorry, I don't mean to get caught up on it. Yeah, it was Talis Mag.
It tasks me.
So Maxi Morales' last year as a DP was in 2021. It was Maxi Morales, Jesus Medina, and Talis Magno. And Talis Magno was on the young designated player distinction, which he still is because I think it runs up until year 2023.
Jesus Medina, basically with the almost hat trick in the first game I ever covered for the team.
Yeah,
the home opener against Cincinnati. Third goal booted off the back of his head.
Where did he wind up going? I think he's in like Saudi Arabia now, right? He was in Russia for a while.
Eber was in China for a while.
Yeah, I remember that.
Thiago Andrade went down to South America, then over to China, I think.
And
I'm not even sure where Eber is now, but Eber was in Seattle for a small bit, I think, too.
Yeah, Eber was traded to Seattle. Yeah.
So Medina actually he was under contract until earlier this year with Damak in Saudi Arabia. and he is no longer under contract. He is out of contract and 28 years old.
Medina's a free agent. Why not bring him in?
It's crazy to think that he's still only 28 years old,
Dude,
considering the fact that
this league, you don't realize it. I mean,
yeah.
Kevin Sullivan just turns 16 this year?
Yeah, Kevon Sullivan, and he's been under contract since he was like 14. I
Yeah.
just feel like we've been hearing about him since he was like 10 years old too.
Well, the whole Sullivan family.
He's 16, 17. I think this is his last year at Philly.
Yep.
It's not, yeah, and then he goes to Manchester when he's 18.
Yeah.
So
he finally gets a driver's license. He has to learn how to drive on the right side of the road, on the left side of the road.
Yeah, you know what's crazy? It's like after players like leave Philadelphia or like Red Bull, I still can't stand them. Like to this day, I hate Brendan Aronson. I hate him. And also he scored against Newcastle a few weeks ago. And I don't like Leeds. Like real football fans remember the 90s and the early 2000s when Leeds, everybody hated Leeds. They were one of the most unpopular club they were basically the most hated club in England, not named Millwall at that point. And I still can't stand Brendan Aronson, and everyone's like, but he's American. I'm like, so, like Harry Kane's English. Do you think Arsenal fans like Harry Kane? Yeah, like it doesn't work that way. Sorry, my club comes first over international play every single day. I'm excited for the World Cup.
Do you think Spurs fans still like Sol Campbell to this day?
No, absolutely not. But yeah,
I got one more thing for you guys.
Sure.
I just want to get your thoughts on this because the word came down. NYCFC now has a pigeon mascot, Skyscraper, the official NYCFC pigeon.
I don't care.
What do you
I just don't care. Like I want a striker. I don't care about a mascot. Give me players to win games and trophies. I don't care about a super mascot.
I do think a lot of people will be of the mind of Davi today, like where like really like on the day where a transfer falls through.
It just never amazes me how the NYCFC front office and the people up there just can't read a fucking room to save their lives.
That said, I don't hate it at all. I actually kind of
bad timing.
Yeah, I actually kind of like it. And I mean, listen, even teams in England have mascots. It's not an American thing. It's a global thing. Mascots are always good for the kids. And also it doesn't look like Gritty. So I'm a fan of that. Even though Gritty
Fang's cool logo.
Even though Gritty is kind of cool, we do have to admit
I prefer Fang over there with Union.
Yeah, so my dad is and my brother are both Sixer fans for reasons that escape me. I don't understand. And hip hop was the guy back in the day, the Bunny. And I don't know if it still is, but he was there for the when they were talking about that 2020 to 2001 team where that made the NBA finals, because that's how much of a useless city they are. We celebrate going to championships 25 years later, not winning them. But
the Yankees had a mascot at one point too, back in the 70s.
Yeah. No, I like it. Anybody who knows me knows that I've been like one of the people who aren't a huge pigeon guys. But it's cute. Yeah. I think the announcement video was actually quite funny. Also, shout out to Tony Rocha for making the appearance. Who else makes a cameo in that video?
Brad Sim shows up in there. My wife thought she saw Sam there too.
What was it? Let me pull it up really quick.
If it's not a striker under that, like under the headpiece, I don't care.
It was another former player that was in there somewhere. New York City FC. Let's go to the announcement video. It was Tony. I see Tony Rocha there. I'm gonna have to. Yeah, Brad Sims is at the head of the table. He's the one that's talking about it.
This is probably gonna get me demonetized, but I'll live with it. Hang on.
Well, I've got it. You know what's funny? Joe Tollison. That's who makes the appearance.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, Joe Tollison makes the appearance.
Guys, we've been a club for over 10 years. We've been talking about this for years and years. We gotta figure this out. We need a mascot.
I just think we need to start at square one. We've been going in circles.
What if we just table this for next year?
Do football teams even have mascots?
Look, Brad,
I don't
said it.
see
We need a
Sam.
mascot. I
No.
want to get out of this room.
I like how he wears the ring.
And there's Tony Rocha at the end in the shirt. Oh yeah, Christian.
Oh, Polanco,
Christian shows up.
Polanco.
Yeah.
And eyes, because it's brick outside. What about the summer? Everyone wants raccoon.
It's a good announcement video. You know, like
6'7".
the round Tims are a good touch.
Of course.
Yeah.
Have you been here the whole time?
Yeah, of course I have.
Yeah.
I like it. I like the mascot. I think it looks cool. I think Skyscraper's a fun name. It's good for the club. Nope. Anybody who hates on it is just hating on it to hate on it. You're a miserable person. You're not even going to notice it's there, like at worst case scenario. And, you know, like, yeah, no, I think it's cool. I think it's another layer to the identity. And this is going to sound kind of like glazing just a little bit, but I do think that it's another like form of progress that, like, outside of the badge, which I'm still upset about to this day, I think Brad Sims, his tenure with this club,
Successful.
I mean, MLS Cup championship, the stadium, which I think is almost just as important, if not, it is equally as important. We needed one.
In fact, I would put the stadium over the championship. But if you don't get the championship, you probably don't get the stadium.
Lose you guys?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know if Christian's asking if we lost him. I don't know if you still hear him or not.
We can hear you. We're good.
We're good on our end. I don't know about you.
I can hear both of y'all.
Yikes.
So.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean that kind of like in my head. It's like if we don't get that championship, do we get the stadium?
Probably not.
It's almost as
Can
like
you guys
we
hear
have
me,
to prove
by the way?
ourselves. Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Because
you're good.
I can't hear you guys.
Weird.
That really sucks.
Can you hear us now?
What if we talk like this?
I wish I understood what you were saying. I really do.
Scott,
anyways,
for all intents and purposes, you could be speaking Japanese anymore.
You want me to?
Yeah, go ahead. Why not? He's
no. Doko e Christian no ga doko ka. Koku ni dewa nai. You know, garimasen Christian.
It's incredible. That's incredible.
Chotto mate.
He's back.
There we go.
Subarashi da yokozoni. Yes, he said I should speak Japanese, so I just did.
Sorry about that, guys. My bad.
Okay.
You're good.
I'm waiting for NYCFC to get a Japanese player. I swear to God, I want to ask questions in Japanese, but I can't do it because I don't have a player yet. Thiago Martins is the only one I can borderline communicate with over there.
You know what the thing is? I know that we've had some. Is the pipeline like from Japan to the United States, like in terms of players? Like, is it like really like an explored pipeline? I feel like it's not.
Not really. I mean,
Jeff Marino's our Kyodai or a sister team, a brother team.
Yeah, but we haven't seen really anybody come over.
Takaoka, but that's about it.
Yeah, but Takaoka,
phenomenal goalkeeper.
Then again, there seems to be like certain pipelines. Like we see that MLS to Bundesliga pipeline a lot, and then vice versa. We see it to the Championship a lot. You'll see it to like leagues like Portugal and Belgium quite a bit.
You're starting to see it more to La Liga too, with Freeman going to Villarreal.
Yeah, and the South American pipeline. I mean, sheesh. I mean, come on, that's like probably the biggest one in the league. And then we're even starting to see like the Australian one open up a little bit. So I mean, never say never, but I would like to see it like, you know, a Japanese, because I mean, Japanese sports fans love their sports and they're very passionate about their Japanese athletes. They follow them everywhere, and
the amount of things that I saw Shohei Ohtani hawking last year in Japan. Oh my God. He's not even holding anything. They just CGI something in his hand and just send him a check.
Yeah. I remember
everywhere.
I remember Hideki Matsui was like that back in the day too. Yeah, like I'm a big Yankees fan. I bleed pinstripes. I remember we played the Giants in like those exhibition games in that preseason one year, which was so much fun. I wish we would do it again. And Hideki Matsui was
Japanese know how to do baseball.
And Ichiro. I mean, come on, Ichiro was a national hero, and
You do
Yeah,
that, you go back far enough, and but they know, dude. They know how to play. They know how to celebrate a game, man.
yeah. I also my favorite restaurant in New York is a Japanese place. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Third Avenue to Ichibante. Ichibante is like one of my favorites. It's like Japanese soul food. It's open until 3 a.m. all the time, and it's oh man, the
First
cheap,
hand,
huh?
Ichiban Te would be first hand, or
Yeah,
best first, best hand, I should say.
Yeah, that's what it's called, Ichibante. It's my favorite. It's they have chicken chup there. They also have this thing called a cheese hamburger steak. It's delicious. It's great. Not to mention their homemade gyoza, which is and which is pan fried. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to go back soon. I went a few weeks ago, but
You're like, I gotta go.
just thinking about it, I'm getting hungry. Like I'm like, God damn, I'm gonna have to make a trip.
Yeah, my wife and I went to a ramen place at the Garden State Plaza the other day, and it was not on the part of Yokohama. Yeah. Something about a Jersey ramen place doesn't hold up. It wasn't bad, but
Yeah, and also like, thank you for having me on, Scott. It's been a while since you and we've kept in touch like through like the Reddit and through Twitter, like for the most part, but we haven't seen each other since I think 2023. It's it was at Red Bull Arena.
Like this about once, especially when the season starts, about once a week, and maybe Monday it may not be, because I know that Glenn and Roberto, they have something on Mondays also. So I'm not sure what I want to do yet, but I do want to do a weekly.
Yeah, they were live before this, so I have to.
Yeah, I know. And I don't want to step on toes. I'm nervous about that.
Yeah,
I got to actually text Glenn. He wanted me to text him beginning of February anyway.
Glenn's the best though. Glenn and Rob are both like, and Roberto are both like two of the nicest dudes. Like that's one thing about our like press area. Like there's like nobody I don't like in our press. I've had several disagreements with everybody, but I love everybody. I still keep in contact with Alec every now and then. I saw him actually at the tailgate for the last Derby match, the 3-2 away, and what a match that was.
I was in the press, that weird press area for that, and boy, I heard the NYCFC fans on that one.
What happened? Did they like make that press area? That was like the best press area in the league, and now was it seats now?
It's like premium seating or something like that. Like
it's the premium seating for basically Red Bull business, like Yankee Stadium does with the really expensive seats. So they jacked us all the way up to a weird left corner, which had nice seats, but was a bear to get to. And people, certain people that have like a handicap, some of that, they're screwed. Apparently they have a new press area that's closer to the other one for this season, but I don't know exactly where it is just yet.
It's not, because it's not a big stadium. Like it's not, because like that one side of Red Bull Arena is basically just suites, right? That's basically all it is.
Yeah.
I
mean, their press booths are literally on the roof on that stadium.
I never give the Red Bulls. I never give them any compliments ever. One compliment that I will give their stadium, which I will give their stadium because they don't even own their own stadium. The city of Harrison owns their stadium. Their press box was the best press box in the league, bar none. Like right on top of all like the benches, and
if you're not careful, a soccer ball will hit you in the face.
Yeah, and you can hear them talking to each other on the bench. Like you can hear like the shouts on the pitch and everything like that. The press area was great. They're catering not so much, but the press area was great.
But yeah, I'll probably take a look because Gotham's still playing over there too. So
yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy that they shifted the press people all the way basically next to the away end.
Yeah, that's right. They put you next to the away section. Yeah.
Now we already have on my side. We already have press access to U.S. Women's National for the She Believes Cup for in March. So U.S. Women's are playing on one of them. I think Colombia and Canada is playing another one. So we've already got press permission for that now. So I'll know more at that point. But I mean, if I don't have to make that trip all the way up those stairs again, I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you want to call it, gentlemen?
Yeah, I'm satisfied. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been great to talk to you.
Dude, actually, I've been missing doing this anyway because the off season, obviously, there was a hell of a lot of things to go into anyway. So, Dobby,
dude,
any final thoughts?
Yeah.
No, I mean
that works.
The nine situation isn't that it's not where I wanted to or hoped it would be right now, but I don't know.
But you still have your season tickets
We
loaded.
may know more tomorrow.
Yeah, I still have that, and I mean we got Pascal Janssen, so I mean if we can make it to the conference final without a striker, I mean I guess we could hold on, but I mean realistically, the first half of the season runs through May, and after that it's the World Cup break, so I don't know. I mean they'll definitely get somebody after the World Cup, but
and all Eastern roads are probably going to go through Miami too. So
yeah,
We've got them early too in a home match.
yeah,
What is it, like March 14th, I believe?
22nd.
statistically, usually they do get an early match against Miami too.
Yeah.
And they'll be in the Champions Cup, so they'll definitely be rotating and they'll be on tired legs.
Probably, yeah. So, yeah. Well, next time I can have you guys on, we'll talk about the flex schedule next year too, what that's going to do for players and everything in the 14 game season. Because I have some thoughts on that, and I talked to like Joe Tatino and Tollison and a few of these guys about it. They're all generally in favor of it too. So,
I'm excited for it.
I'm fine with that sprint season just to make sure that there's some football like in that like long, because you can't like it's a sport where you can't have a 6-month long off season. It's just not possible, especially if you want to keep your team intact. That said, I'm curious as to how it'll affect contracts. I'm curious as to how it'll because Tallis Magno is signed through the 2027 season. But is that both seasons in 2027? And will that count going into 2028 now that the 2027 season is now the 2027-2028 season? Is it just for the sprint? And also, why are we calling the winner of the sprint the MLS Cup champion? Like that's the one thing. I'm fine with the sprint season. I'm fine with it. I'm not going to argue against more football.
Champion.
Do not call that the MLS Cup. You're doing nobody any favors. Everybody's going to call that the Mickey Mouse Cup. It's just not. It's not worth it. Like, just call it.
Reminded the World Series in 2020 when you had a 60 game season.
Yeah, just call it the MLS is back 2.0 trophy and call it a day. Throw in the Tam Gam, thank you, ma'am. Give him a silver medal. Silver medal. It's like the Ricky Gervais. Come up, accept your award, thank your God, fuck off. You know, don't make a big hoopla over it. It's not an MLS Cup. We shouldn't be calling it that either. The MLS needs to change that. That's the only thing I need them to change. Because I do think the schedule change is good for us net long term. You're not going to be losing coaches midseason as often. You're not going to be losing players midseason as often. And also, all those players that go into that free agency pile at the end of every European season are now yours to pick.
True.
So,
yeah, most people are in favor of the whole thing, but just some things you got to work out, like endurance of the players, because that's going to be a long season.
And that's also the Apple too. That deal seems like it's falling apart faster than what we anticipated. That's something we didn't talk about.
But this year,
It's also like it's not going to be like Game of Thrones where winter is coming. No, winter is here during the season now. All of it,
dude. Oh God, hang in there. We're supposed to get above freezing all week with sun. So, all right, guys, I'm going to call it because I got to get up early tomorrow. So,
me too.
But Tommy, Christian, appreciate the time. You guys rock. Thanks as always.
Of course, man. Anytime.
Scott,
that's what you guys want as well. Yeah, appreciate it. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, always good to see you, Davi. Didn't even know Davi was coming on today. He and I have a long history in the NYCFC sphere together. Good to see him, and I see him at all. And I'll
enemies as well.
And I hope I see you guys at some games, and I'll buy you guys some beers over the season. So
that's cool.
Yeah,
I'm old enough now, so
yes, you are. I can buy you I can buy you a beer.
I've been old enough for 29 years now. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Have a good night.
Take it easy, guys.
See you, Christian.